Excelsior!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of Excelsior. I'm your moderator, Christian Buckley, joined once again by Mr. Jack Martin.
Thank you very much for having me.
I'm excited to be back.
Yeah, definitely excited to be
Marvel.
back, for sure.
And making it all happen over on our mixers, Mr. Pat Maroney.
Good to be back again, guys. My levels might be too high.
That's fine,
Yeah.
it's fine. So we have a lot of news this week.
Yeah, we kind of got bombarded this week. Especially, even today, you were saying that there's a little news drop that we had to explore before the show.
There's a last-minute notification that I got that I had to modify the show notes a little bit. But before we start that off, we're going to be continuing our casting.
Good.
Pat, are you prepared to cast our Marvel
ready
Universe?
to judge.
So if you're not familiar, if you didn't watch last week, this is called Cast Me Baby One More Time, where we pull out from this preschool crayon box that I get a lot of crap for that has a bunch of Marvel characters that aren't in the MCU yet that may or may not be coming in through the Fox acquisition. Jack is going to pick one at random.
Okay. We
each have 1 minute to decide and make a case for an actor of our choice. We have no preparation for what this character is. Who is it?
I have here in this small piece of paper the character Apocalypse.
Apocalypse.
Yes.
So both of us have 1 minute to make our case for an actor or actress who should play Apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready?
Yeah. So what I did is I just put a list of a bunch of famous actors, and I'm just gonna pick from it.
Okay. Right.
And I actually think I have a good one for this one.
Mm-hmm. You good?
Yeah.
Go.
Okay. Javier Bardem. We've seen him in a villainous role in No Country for Old Men, and it is one of the most terrifying portraits of a villain of all time.
Was he the bad guy in the last Bond movie?
Two ago.
Yeah,
Two
a few
ago.
ago.
Yeah.
So he has had these roles where he's like this terrifying villain, and I think Apocalypse lends himself for that kind of a portrayal from an actor. I feel like with the Oscar Isaac one, it was kind of more cliche villainous role, but I feel like Javier Bardem can bring kind of the more terrifying, subdued villainous role that I think Apocalypse would be great for, and I think Javier Bardem would be pretty good for that.
All right. You got 15 seconds. Anything else?
No, that's fine.
All right.
I'll leave it there on the table.
All right. So, Pat, keep that in mind. My turn. So we learned last week that Pat may be judging this on who beats the other one up better.
Oof.
So my choice is Mr. Dolph Lundgren.
Okay.
Dolph Lundgren, he's got the physique. He's got the withered, sort of wizened look to him now. He's not just the beefcake of the 80s and 70s whenever he was making movies in the past. So Dolph Lundgren we saw recently in Aquaman. He played King something of one of the oceans. And I think he fits in well to the comic book vibe. I think he can pull off the stoic tactician very well, which Apocalypse, I don't think you can really bring much to Apocalypse. I think you got that with your choice of Javier Bardem because he can do the stoic role very well. And I feel like Apocalypse should be that more mechanical than someone like Thanos who has an empathy to him. And Dolph Lundgren has the look that does most of that work for him. So that is my choice.
Can you remind me again, what was he in a Rocky movie at some point or another?
He was the Russian.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And he was in Creed 2 recently.
He was, yeah.
Okay, he was in Creed too.
All right, that's a good choice.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to base it off this time. Well, so they're both going to be heavily in makeup.
Yeah, they're
So,
not going to look like they should.
Yeah. Based on that, I think I'm going to go Dolph. Just because he's the dude's a Thunderhouse. He's
Exactly.
yoked.
He's a
Even though he's
Thunderhouse.
like 60,
Yeah.
he's still like in better shape than I am. So,
All right.
Yeah.
So if you're following along, so far our expanded MCU X-Men cast is Mystique, played by Beyonce,
Hell yeah.
and Apocalypse, played by Dolph Lundgren. I don't know where we're going to go with this next week, but
love
I'm
it.
excited.
we're 1-1, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's pretty
keeping
good.
score.
I thought that was a good little match between those two guys.
Yeah, it's very good choices.
Yeah.
Are you guys interested in like spicing it up? Maybe a prize to the winner at the end of the series.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't
Some
know.
sort of ridiculous trophy, like just
Yeah.
because all these mishmash actors.
Yeah. We'll figure something
Yeah,
out.
we'll do something.
So moving on to our first main chunk of the show, we have, like I said, a lot of news this week. If you're interested and you want to skip, I'm going to put time codes in this week. So second half of the show is us ranking Phase 2 of the MCU on our way to Avengers Endgame. But first, I want to give a comic book shout out because both of us are fans of Spider-Man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very big fans. We got the Spider-Man Pop. We got the Spider-Man Encyclopedia. Spider-Man recently got a new #1 last summer. Marvel did a whole sort of fresh start in the comics for people to hop in for the first time. New writers after close to a decade. So Spider-Man now is reaching, I think, issue 15, 17, around there. And they're starting an event with Kraven the Hunter. It's going to be lasting a while. And on the 20th, so this coming Wednesday, by the time you're listening to this, the Amazing Spider-Man Volume 2, which collects issues 7 to 10, I believe, will come out, and you'll be able to catch up for probably around $25 if you're interested in seeing a Spider-Man event happen as it happens. I have Volume 1. Big fan of the new direction for Spidey. They're doing some cool stuff with the lore, which I dig. Have you messed with the Spider-Man comics at all?
Not really. Honestly, as much as I love Spider-Man, I've never read a Spider-Man comic, which is that pains me to say, but I've really wanted to read Spider-Man Blue.
Yeah, I love that one.
You have a really good video that I want to watch on it, but I just haven't watched it yet, and I don't want to spoil it for myself. But eventually I do want to go back and read that.
Yeah, Spider-Man Blue is one of my go-tos for people who say they want to start reading comics, because I'm not a comic professional by any means. I only really dabble with a couple different characters if stuff seems interesting to me, or catching up on classic things. But Spider-Man Blue is one that I think is timeless. You can honestly check that out whenever. Lots of modern tropes played with, lots of 60s and Sam Raimi influences in there, so it's a good story.
And you're mostly a Comixology guy, right?
Yeah.
When do you buy physical, if ever?
So I probably have 6 physical comics. That was when I was first getting into them, but I bought one of the newer Amazon tablets for super cheap on Black Friday. So I've just been buying a bunch there because digital comics are so cheap.
Oh, yeah.
Especially Comixology, they have sales all the time. I know Pat is pretty big with DC, right? You read a lot of DC stuff?
Yeah. I got really into the DC subscription over the past 2 months, which has been huge.
I do have... I'm sitting on a month to Marvel Unlimited that came with Spider-Man on the PS4.
Oh, nice.
So
I probably have that too.
Yeah, you probably do. So if you want to check some stuff out, then that's an easy way to get into it.
Yeah, I think I definitely should do that.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not a voracious reader, but I can read a lot of graphic novels and comics. So I feel like that would be right up my alley, and I should probably do that.
Yeah, so if you want to check out Spider-Man Blue sometime soon and do a little review
Hell yeah.
as an opening segment, we can do that.
Yeah, definitely.
So going into more entertainment news, this week it was announced that Marvel has 4 animated series in the work at Hulu. They are adult themed. They are animated shows. You want to run through the list real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So this is from Variety. The shows will be based on the following Marvel characters: Howard the Duck, MODOK, Hitmonkey, and Tigra and Dazzler. Like the Marvel Netflix Defenders shows before them, the 4 characters will then team up in an animated special, The Offenders. Marvel's head of TV, Jeff Loeb, will executive produce each project. So we got some teams working on the shows. Howard the Duck will be written by Kevin Smith.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah,
oh my God.
That's really cool. MODOK will be written by Patton Oswalt.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
And Jordan Bloom, who worked on Community, will also be involved in that one. Hitmonkey will be written by Josh Gordon. And Will Speck, formerly worked on Blades of Glory, will be involved on that one. Tigra and Dazzler will be written by Chelsea Handler and Erica Rivanoha, who worked on South Park in the past.
Oh my God. Okay.
So they got some good talent.
Yeah, this seems very un-Marvel. And by that I mean Netflix is very serious with all their shows. And it seems like when they're going to Hulu with especially these characters, it's very silly. And you said it was more adult themed.
Yeah, so
you think we'll get rated R kind of?
Probably.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I know Hulu has The Runaways, which I have not watched.
I haven't seen that either.
One of my friends is a big fan of The Runaways. So for what that's worth, I've heard it's a good show.
Yeah.
Interesting that they're going to be doing more Hulu stuff, though, considering they're pulling all the Netflix shows.
Yeah, isn't that kind of weirded me out when you were saying that? Because, yeah, they are pulling all the Netflix shows, and Disney is going to have its own service. And I know they don't want to have R-rated content on that service, at least that's what I've heard. So I guess it kind of makes sense for that, but it is weird that they're pulling all their Netflix stuff, but they're heading over to Hulu.
Yeah, so...
I mean, to be fair... everyone's pulling their Netflix stuff and heading to Hulu. It's been like every TV show I watched has ended up switching.
That is true, yeah. It's also worth pointing out that Disney owns a decent chunk of Hulu now.
Oh, okay.
I think it's close to 60%.
Oh,
I think it'll increase once the Fox purchase goes through. Mm-hmm. So Hulu is pretty much a secondary streaming source for them anyways.
That's fair.
So if they do want to maybe do some R-rated adult TVMA Marvel content, that's the place.
That's awesome.
I think characters are pretty good choices.
I only know Howard the Duck on that list.
Yeah.
And it's only because of the Guardians of the Galaxy
post-credits.
Post-credit, yeah.
MODOK is the floating head guy.
Okay.
He has like really tiny arms and legs, but he's just a giant floating head that's in a case. Hitmonkey, I know because when that Deadpool game got announced, the original announcement was they were making a Hitmonkey game, and it was like, surprise, it's actually Deadpool. Oh. And Dazzler, I'm aware of because I think for Days of Future Past or Apocalypse, there was a rumor that Taylor Swift was going to be playing Dazzler. She's a mutant.
Interesting.
She's like a mutant pop star who just has like Jubilee style explosive pretty stuff. Mm-hmm. Which I think it's interesting choices.
Yeah, I think so too. We usually get I feel like we usually get serious characters and characters that like would actually affect the world of Marvel, but I feel like these characters are more fun, laid back. That's probably what you're gonna get with these TV shows.
Yeah, do you remember there was that Donald Glover Deadpool show that was gonna happen on FX?
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was planned to write it. I think he released the first script. It was very memey and very pop culture-y.
Yeah.
And I know there's some reports out there about why it didn't go through, why it got canceled, but I'm not exactly sure. I know there's some recent developments with that whole behind the scenes stuff. But interesting that they canceled that with Deadpool, who's a much more recognizable character than any of these.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think we'll see that resurrect itself in Hulu?
If it does, I feel like it's going to be very different because it doesn't sound like Donald Glover was pleased with the the Marvel relationship, or at least the Fox Marvel relationship, because he wasn't Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's not the first time someone would be upset with Marvel as a company.
Oh no,
working with them.
We're going to be touching on one of those films later today
for sure.
Next news story though. Any last comments from either of you?
No, I mean I'm pretty interested in it. I like anything Marvel, honestly. And yeah, it's animated and it's all kind of adult themed, so I'd be interested to see. Yeah, that it's definitely shake some things up in the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great resume on all the shows.
Yeah,
lots of good talent. Next up, though, we do have a announcement video game side of things from this week's. We record on Fridays. This past Wednesday, February 13th, we got a Nintendo Direct with a second look at Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Release window coming summer 2019. Probably going to capitalize on that endgame hype.
Oh, yeah.
So we have a little bit of a quote. We watched the trailer beforehand. I can link to it if you want to watch it, if you're on YouTube. For the first time in 10 years, the Marvel Ultimate Alliance series returns with 4-player action in an original story, all exclusive to Nintendo Switch. You're going to be able to have 4-player co-op either locally on 4 different Switches or in TV mode on the Switch. You're going to have different dynamic viewpoints. Looks like a not budget title, but it looks more cel-shaded. It's a follow-up to the Ultimate Alliance games from a decade ago, which I had a lot of fun with. You have a Switch.
I do have a Switch, yes. My first Nintendo console.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. I've never played the Ultimate Alliance games.
You're going to have a hard time finding them now because once Activision lost the Marvel license, a couple months later, I think, Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2 were on the PS4. They are now delisted.
Really?
Yes. So I think your only chance is to find them on PS2 somewhere or find them on PS3.
Jeez. Well, I never saw any footage for those games, but this one particularly didn't really catch me. Mm-hmm. I think for something like the Avengers or just any Marvel character in general, for me, I think it should be a really big scale event. Like Spider-Man PS4 is the perfect example. That game, it looks like there's so much time and effort put into that game. And not to say that there isn't with this game. It just seems a little smaller in scale. And especially with the story of it, they're going up against Thanos in, what is it, the Black Order? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, those were the people who were in Infinity War that didn't really have
names. Yeah. So basically an Infinity War style story.
Mm-hmm. With the X-Men this time.
Yeah, with the X-Men. So a huge roster of characters, and it just from the look of it just doesn't seem like it is that tone makes sense for that game. That's at least for me.
Let me try and sell you on this real
Yeah,
quick.
please.
So
I need more Switch titles, definitely.
yeah, Ultimate Alliance, the original, and I didn't play as much as the second one, but I got hours and hours out of the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimate Alliance was pretty much my gateway into weird Marvel.
Oh,
So
all right.
outside of Spider-Man. Ultimate Alliance is a really cool game. That was the first time I learned about Thor, Loki, Doctor Strange, and this was when I was like 8.
Oh, wow.
So Ultimate Alliance was doing some deep pulls. They have a huge roster of characters. It's a Diablo-like. So
Okay.
you have an entire roster of characters you can pick from, make your squad of 4. You can do co-op, I think up to 4 players. PS2 had 2 inputs, so 2 players on that. Ultimate Alliance is really cool, though, because you are trying to upgrade your team, upgrade their abilities, get your own dynamics. There's a lot of Marvel history in there because you get new costumes and stuff. So far, for 3, the roster doesn't look as big as the old games. I'd assume they're going to be expanding that in the future because in this past trailer, they showcased Captain Marvel, and she wasn't in the first trailer. So it's cool that the X-Men are here. But yeah.
Who's making this game?
This is from... Pat, do you want to check that for me real quick?
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
Okay. It might be Team Ninja. I don't know.
Oh, okay. And they did...
Recently, they did Neo, I believe.
Oh, okay. Yep. All right.
So, yeah.
Interesting. And that was like a Bloodborne, Dark Souls like, right?
Right.
Okay.
So this is definitely in line with the first 2 Ultimate Alliance games, though.
Right.
It doesn't look like they're changing up very much about it.
Yeah.
You still have the ring around your character on the floor. So it is sort of isometric top-down. They did mention they're going to have a heroic angle.
Okay.
Which is like more close-up.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing for me is the camera angle. And I did see like the heroic thing and it was fine, but it's still like I really like third person action games in the vein of like Uncharted. I mean, we were just saying, but Spider-Man PS4, like I think that is the best way to control a character. And I don't know, this game just doesn't look like it'd do it for me, but I'd be excited to check it out.
It is Team Ninja, by the way.
Thank
Team
you,
Ninja, okay.
Did you ever play the criminally underrated Marvel Heroes Omega?
No.
That was a online only similar style to Ultimate Alliance,
Okay.
which was tragically canceled.
Oh.
I got into that probably I think the summer before it got canceled. It's a real good game.
Yeah.
It satisfies like the loot grindiness
Okay.
that you like in some games. But yeah, I think it's worth checking out. Definitely I'm getting this day one, so I'm also hopeful because the first trailer, while the announcement was very hype, I was like, okay, this could use some work.
Yeah, the first trailer definitely did not sell me, and this one like a little bit, it's fine. But
there has been an improvement, definitely.
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think so.
I feel like the main reason to buy this game is because it's literally the perfect console. The Nintendo Switch with this game, like most people when they buy a Switch, they get a Pro controller, and then it comes with the 2 controllers that clip on the side. Like that's a full group playing right there.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's the absolutely perfect console for this game.
It's fascinating to me that it's only on Switch because Marvel made such a big push with Spider-Man on PS4 being exclusive to PS4. So yeah, I guess it's funny that Marvel is just kind of playing around as an exclusive on certain consoles. I honestly don't know why they're doing that, but it's interesting for sure.
So as far as I'm aware, Nintendo is publishing this.
Yep.
So I think this is getting into more little games industry
Yeah,
stuff. But, I think it's a great get from Nintendo.
Oh, for sure.
Because that Square Enix Avengers game is so up in the air right now. I would not be surprised if that gets pushed to next gen or if it just got scrapped and reworked. But in the meantime, I'll gladly take something like this.
Oh, yeah.
Because it does capitalize on the Avengers hype. I'm sure it's going to be a good game. If it's at least as good as the last 2 Ultimate Alliance games, I'm sure it'll be fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, that about does that for that.
For sure.
I'm definitely going to bring the Switch in one of our recordings once it's out, though. Because, again, perfect system for it.
Yeah, definitely.
Last news bit before we get into our rankings for this week. I mentioned a news story broke.
Yes.
A little bit before we start recording.
I usually hear of podcasts talking about how news breaks immediately after recording, so this is a good little get for us, I suppose.
So, via The Hollywood Reporter, Marvel's Loki series lands Rick and Morty's writer. So, do you watch Rick and Morty at all?
I do, yeah.
You a fan of it?
I am. I'm not
You're not a
huge.
fan
I'm not
of
a
it?
fan. I'm not one of those guys, but I enjoy it quietly. I enjoy it quietly.
Yeah.
That I know a lot of Rick and Morty fans aren't like that, but yeah, no, it's a good show.
Yeah, I think it's written cleverly. So
yeah, definitely.
The concept, according to the Hollywood Reporter, has been released. So the sources they are quoting say that Loki will be followed as the trickster, shapeshifter. He's popping up throughout human history as unlikely. Sorry, this is worded very strangely. So Loki's going to be going through human history, and it's going to be revealed that he has some influence over unlikely events throughout human history.
Oh.
Yeah. So
like time travel and manipulation, that kind of thing?
Technically, so Loki's very old. I think him and Thor are around like 1,500 years old.
Oh, so he's just like, it's just going to progress. Like it's not.
It could be a prequel, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
So it could be like a Doctor Who style, just like each episode's a random event. Loki could have some influence over, I don't know, what's some big thing? I don't want to say like
the Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
Is he going to pop in and just like beat the British or something?
Maybe, I don't know.
Fascinating. This is fascinating, actually.
Yeah, Loki is going to be portrayed again by Tom Hiddleston, officially.
I'm glad about that. I don't think they could do that with anyone else.
Mm-hmm. The Disney Plus service is what this is going to be on, like you said.
Yeah.
Not R-rated, so it will be in tone with probably Ragnarok, maybe the first Thor, as far as what Loki's character is like, depending on when it's placed.
I would think so, yeah.
But yeah, so if you saw Infinity War, Loki not looking too good right now.
Yeah, he is no more resurrections this time.
So depending on what happens in Endgame, this is either a prequel or it's Loki actually doing time travel.
Yeah.
Marvel has no comment right now on the actual plot synopsis that was revealed through Hollywood Reporter, but yeah, are you excited for this?
I am. I like Loki as a character, especially as he progresses through the MCU. Like especially in Ragnarok, I liked him. Even in the Dark World, I thought it was pretty good. But I think it'd be interesting to humanize this character, especially since like I feel like it's pretty easy to humanize him just with his backstory. He's kind of a tragic character.
Mm-hmm. Do you think they'll be able to do that well if it is a prequel though? Before the revelations of Thor 1, before he tried to backlash against his family.
That's the thing with prequels. I really hate prequels because like what's the point? We already know what's going to happen. I think it'd be better as a sequel. The time travel stuff would be weird if that's the case. But if it is a prequel, I don't really think it'd be as powerful with humanizing him, at least, because I don't know. I always think like Jamie Lannister from Game of Thrones is a perfect example. Like he humanizes over time. Okay. And Loki has done that over time in the MCU. I don't know. So I feel like it'd be weird to kind of humanize him in a prequel setting because in Thor 1, like he's not a good guy.
Right.
So it'd be weird to see. I don't know. I don't think they could do that well as a prequel.
Yeah, it's worth noting the other shows that are coming to the service. We don't know much on them yet. Is Vision and the Scarlet Witch, Winter Soldier and Falcon.
Ooh, I like the Winter Soldier one. That's a good idea.
That's all that's confirmed right now. I think one of those is not confirmed officially.
Okay,
but it's pretty much all about confirmed.
Right.
Pat, I know you are on the DC service for streaming, correct?
Yes, I am.
What's your take on the Disney Plus service? It's gonna have the Marvel and Star Wars shows. Like, are you excited for those? Do you think they can pull it off the way that DC has? Like, I know people have some different opinions on the DC shows on there, but
I am because of the concepts they have. If I was to strictly like rank the DC service, the only reason I want on it is because I'm a big fan of the animated movies.
Oh, definitely.
I ended up basically slamming all of those in about 2 months, and there's really nothing left to watch. I think the way that Marvel or the Disney subscription service would have success is if they didn't allow for their viewers to binge watch everything.
Interesting.
Because if they released it at like in a periodic,
like regular television.
Yeah. But like I mean, you kind of end up where I was with the DC service, where you basically just get through everything. Like if you're sick for a day, you finish a fourth of the service, and then you end up canceling it. Yeah, which is what I'm about to do. Yeah, I've gotten through pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm not sure how it's going to shake out. I'm probably going to sub because if it is MCU canon shows, I already have an interest.
Yeah. I feel like the Disney Plus, right? That's what it's called. Disney Plus is probably like one of the few things aside from like Netflix and Hulu that I would sub to.
Yeah.
Because if they were just like, here's all the MCU and here's like a lot of the Disney catalog, I'd be like, okay, that's some of the best movies of all time. Yeah. I'll take that. And especially with the shows, I'd love to see that.
Got that Jon Favreau Star Wars show coming too.
Oh my God, that's gonna be awesome. Disney Plus is a get for me, if that is the case, like with all those movies.
Also, last week we did talk about the earnings call. Bob Iger mentioned that Disney Plus will be demoed in, I believe, April.
Oh,
so
wow,
we're going to have a closer look at it pretty soon. But that will wrap the news for this week. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll be ranking Phase 2 of the MCU, talking about our number ones. Probably less spicy takes this week, but we'll be right back.
You ready for another bout?
What, you getting sleepy?
Welcome back. On the second half of the show, we will be ranking Phase 2 of the MCU. Last week, we ranked Phase 1. Did not disagree much.
No, it was, we were fairly similar on our list, I feel.
Surprised both of you with one of my picks.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is the last long ranking in this format because next week we will be going into one a week, starting with Civil War.
More time to stew on each particular film.
Yeah, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, definitely.
Because this has been fun, but I really want to do some deep dives.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I've been, like, some of these I doubled up on a couple days, which... honestly, not that bad, but it is nice to just kind of watch a movie and then like kind of sit with it.
For sure.
Yeah.
So this week we will be ranking Iron Man 3, Thor: The Dark World, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers: Age of Ultron, and Ant-Man. So same style as last week. You just want to bounce back and forth?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Would you like to go first?
Yes, I shall go first. I don't know why I looked at that. I already knew it was number 6. Number 6 for me is Thor: The Dark World.
It is also my 6.
Yeah. So where am I here? Okay. It's just not good, I think. It is down there with The Incredible Hulk. I just really feel like it feels like a Marvel movie, which is good. Like that's what they're known for. It has that formula to it, but
at least got that right.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I like the score in this. I feel like in Phase 2 they started getting their score right. In terms of music, I feel like they're starting to get it with this. Darcy. Not a fan.
Okay,
just hate her as a character.
There's that great line she has though.
What'd she say?
Which is the best line like the best joke out of all of them so far. When it's they're rattling off names and the hammer flies by and she calls it meow meow.
Oh my God,
that's good.
I don't know about that. I think this Thor is too serious. I really like the Ragnarok Thor. I don't know. Some people were upset with Ragnarok because he's so different than the previous 2 Thors, but honestly, this Thor, for me at least, I just can't latch onto him.
That's fair.
Malekith, I would say, is the worst MCU villain of all time. I would have to say.
He's towards the bottom. I don't know if I'd say worse immediately, but...
Yeah, he's... I would have to think about that more, but I do think he's just not good. He's not a good villain.
As someone who ranked Thor above the Avengers...
Yeah.
This one I can't defend as much.
No.
This movie still entertains me. I really like the final fight, the visual aspect of it, of them jumping through the realms, stuff like that.
No, that was
I think
cool.
that's really cool. I like the kill shot on Malekith when he stabs him with the weather poles or whatever.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Again, soft spot for Thor. I like the surrounding cast, even the humans. Darcy has some bad delivery on a lot of lines,
I think
but
so.
I still like the chemistry they all have together. The whole Eric Selvig side plot is so strange.
That's so silly. Running around like naked at Stonehenge or whatever.
I like his character a lot, but that's just so weird.
No pants.
Yeah. Dark World was also originally going to be directed by Patty Jenkins.
Really?
Yeah, which probably would have made the movie better.
Yeah, seriously.
I like Loki a lot in this film.
Yeah, Loki's pretty good in this. I
like him more than I did in the first Thor in this film.
I agree. Yeah.
When he finds out that Frega's dead, and just it's silent, and you just see him like burst out that energy. That's powerful.
Yeah, I wrote down here. I only cared about Thor's mom's death until we saw Loki's reaction in the cell.
For sure.
And Tom Hiddleston is excellent in this movie.
Yeah, he's great. He's he shines through in this.
And I will say my favorite part of this movie is the Cap cameo.
Oh, that's great.
where Chris Evans pops up in the theater. I saw this in the theater and I was like, oh my God, that was incredible. Like, imagine getting like the biggest, like one of the two biggest Avengers in like a 5-second cameo. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad they did that.
Yeah. So I don't have much else to say on Thor. I'll disagree on the score because I there's nothing that's standing out in my head.
Yeah, I will say like it's not standout, but it's good. I guess generic, if that makes sense. Like it's fine.
Yeah, I do like. There's a track from the first film called Sons of Odin, which is the one that plays when it's them like riding out together.
Yeah,
I like that one a lot. Again, I'm kind of upset that the MCU never really sticks with its themes.
that's true. Yeah.
I noticed we'll get to this, but I noticed there's some recurring themes in Phase 2, which we can
Yes.
touch on more. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is Ant-Man. So I like Ant-Man, but my problem with it is that I feel like it is the least consequential Marvel movie.
That's fair. I think the placement of Ant-Man 2 can fall into that because it was supposed to be the first Phase 3 film, and then they ended up sweeping it in.
That's true.
So, yeah.
It's just like, I think I love Michael Pena. I think he's one of my favorite MCU characters. The shtick of him recounting events in the Michael Pena way is absolutely hilarious. I wrote down, I don't know why I wrote this down, but it made me laugh. It's titanium, you idiot. I don't know why I wrote that. I just thought that was a funny quote. But yeah, Ant-Man is good.
Baskin-Robbins.
Yeah, Baskin-Robbins. What a great little appearance of Baskin-Robbins. I love Paul Rudd as the character. And Michael Douglas is great. Evangeline Lilly, great. I don't know, the plot. Oh, and the villain, the dude from House of Cards.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like him, honestly.
I'll say for Ant-Man, which we'll get to in a little bit on my ranking, but Ant-Man's villain is one of the first standouts of... It's a carbon copy of the protagonist, but they're bad.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
That's like... Whenever I have to bring that up with Marvel films, that is the one I always go to.
That's a good example for that.
More so than even any of the Iron Man films, when it literally is a competitor trying to make another Iron Man suit.
Yeah, seriously.
With Ant-Man, it's more... Because, like, Scott isn't a great person.
Right.
Like, he has a good heart, but he's still kind of shady.
Yeah.
So you do get the questionable actions, and same thing. I think Cross is the guy's name, right?
Yeah, of course.
He is just a straight up dick.
Yeah.
So it's like similarities between the two, but yeah.
Every time I watch this movie, immediately I forget the plot. And I don't know why, because I never do that with any other movies, but I don't know. I think I'm not like bored by this movie, but I'm not sucked into what's going on. I just feel like nothing that's happening is like that important.
Does your placement or like the way you think about this film have anything to do with the fact that it was originally going to be directed by Edgar Wright?
No, but I really wish it would have been directed by Edgar Wright.
I do. Even the first time I saw it, I felt like there were some Edgar Wright isms that carried over.
There are definitely some stuff that, like the Michael Pena stuff in terms of editing, that is definitely Edgar Wright.
I think visually too with the shrinking scenes.
Yeah.
It has a lot of his style or like light fingerprints of his style compared to some of his other stuff, but
that's so sad. That makes me so sad because I think that's a perfect movie and perfect character for him to do.
Definitely.
But oh well.
My number 5 is Iron Man 3.
Okay.
Which compared to last week, everything from here forward is 3 stars or higher for me.
Right.
So Iron Man 3, I really like. I don't know now if I like it more than Iron Man 1. But for the longest time, I've always said that I preferred over Iron Man 1. I think I still have a better time with it than Iron Man 1 maybe, but Iron Man 1 is just a better film.
Yeah.
Iron Man 3 gets way too much crap.
I think so too.
I think it's a very good film. I think it was a good choice to make it focus on Tony Stark.
Oh, definitely.
Because a lot of people use that as a complaint for this. It's like, oh, it's not an Iron Man movie, it's a Tony Stark movie. Iron Man 1 is just as much about Tony Stark as Iron Man 3 is.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you don't get the suit until pretty much the end of the first act in Iron Man.
It really is far back, yeah.
And then in Iron Man 3, maybe it's because they take the suit away, which is fine with me, because you get really to see him stripped down to who he is as a person.
If you're nothing without the suit, you shouldn't have it at all.
Yeah, and we see implications from Iron Man 3 in a lot of other Marvel movies, like Ultron, Civil War, Spider-Man. Iron Man 3, the twist I enjoy a lot.
Interesting.
Especially going back to where we are now and how chaotic the world is with social media and manipulation of the press and stuff like that, I think the Mandarin twist is just going to keep aging like a fine wine.
That makes sense, actually.
Yeah.
Now that you say that.
Going back, I really love, because when I initially saw it, I actually got it slightly spoiled for me, and I saw it night of premiere.
Damn.
I heard something about like, oh, Killian is like in charge of the Mandarin or something like that.
Right.
So I had an expectation going in that there was something wrong.
Okay.
I didn't know the whole thing if he was an actor.
Right.
But yeah, I think a lot of the Ben Kingsley twist is funny just because it's Ben Kingsley acting like a doofus.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, so the twist
What was the actor's name in the movie?
Oh, like the character's name?
Yeah.
Oh, what was it?
It was
Trevor.
Yeah.
Trevor, yeah.
Trevor Slattery, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Trevor Slattery. That was it.
Yeah, I thought that was such a good twist on the whole, just your expectations of the superhero film.
Mm-hmm.
I get being upset that it wasn't the trio Mandarin, but
Right.
people, I never got the appeal of the actual Mandarin character
Yeah.
in the first place.
So my number 4 is Iron Man 3.
Okay.
And I used to hate this movie. I used to absolutely hate this movie, and it was because of the twist.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, still now it doesn't bother me as much.
Mm-hmm.
I think the reveal is funny. Like the actual like him going to it is like hilarious.
I love how he like goes in and out of the voice too.
Oh yeah, yeah. And like Tony's like so confused. Like imagine like this dude who, in your mind, blew up your house, and like killed all these people across the world, and it's just like some fat British dude with like 2 women in his bed, and he just came out of the bathroom. He's like, "Don't go in there for a while." It's like, what is happening? I think the character, quote unquote, of the Mandarin is fantastic. I love the idea of that, and now that you say that, that's actually an interesting idea of like the whole like social media manipulation of social media, and with Mandarin's character, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But it is a little disappointing to me. I mean, I'm not a huge Iron Man comics guy, so I have no affinity for the actual Mandarin. But I do wish it was like an actual character or an actual villain for Iron Man. I really do like this Iron Man, and it's my favorite Iron Man. Now that I look at it,
Yeah.
That's weird for me to say because in 2013 when this came out, this was easily my least favorite. But now it's probably my favorite because it is absolutely like a Tony Stark. It's a portrait of Tony Stark's character. And I think that is really important because even in Iron Man 2, he was not as humble as he is now.
Yeah, he lost himself.
He really did. And after the Avengers, and especially in this movie, he really does humble himself, especially with the PTSD. I love that angle
Me too.
in this movie. It is so good. And I really do think it's like the start of Tony as we know him. And I feel like that's like the best part of the movie.
Yeah. I really do like this a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoy Iron Man 3.
Oh, I think it's fantastic. Another note I have on here, it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I love it.
But it's fine. Like, it's totally weird.
Have you ever seen Kiss Kiss Bang Bang?
No, I haven't.
If you haven't seen that, I recommend it. It's also starring Robert Downey Jr.
Okay.
And it's a sort of like neo-noir, also directed by Shane Black, takes place in Christmas. Very good film.
Does Shane Black like his Christmas movies?
Oh, he sure does.
Was The Nice Guys a Christmas movie?
I don't know, but I think the recent Predator was also a Christmas movie. So
wow.
I'm there for it though. I really like Iron Man 3.
I love the kid in this movie.
Yeah.
He is hilarious. Wasn't there like some rumor that he was going to pop up in like Infinity War or Endgame? Or did I just hear that at some point?
I remember hearing people speculate about that. Yeah, I think this has some of the best Tony Stark comedy in it too.
I think so too. I have a quote here. It happens. Dad's leave. No need to be a pussy about it. I'm like, what the hell? Who says that to a kid?
Yeah.
The post-credit scene was also great.
What was it?
With Banner.
Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3, yeah.
That was good. It was just like the whole story, the whole movie was him telling the story to Bruce and he was like asleep. That was good. That was a good little.
It's also, I feel like that's a nod too because Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is also narrated by Robert Downey Jr.'s
Oh,
character.
is it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
At the end, he's doing like a video log about it.
Oh, cool.
So, but yeah, Iron Man 3 gets too much hate.
I agree. And that's not a stance I would have taken even last year, I don't think. So,
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
My number 4 is your number 5, Ant-Man. I wanted to rank higher. I really like Ant-Man. I think it elevates some of the format of the origin story that was established with Iron Man. I think it does some things that the original Iron Man does better. Ant-Man does better, I should say.
Right.
It's a heist movie, and I
It is a
love
heist movie.
heist movies.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you recommend a film to me and it's a heist movie, automatically gets higher up on the list.
So you're a big Oceans guy?
Oh, Ocean's 11 is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Awesome. I've actually never seen them, which is weird to say,
Very
but
good.
I think I should. Yeah.
Ant-Man, similarly to what you were saying, I miss the presence of Edgar Wright, and the first time I saw it, was like, dang, what could have this have been? I do think that Peyton Reed did find a good place for this character, a very good tone for the comedy of Scott, and I think one of the things I like the most about Ant-Man is the surrounding cast.
Yeah.
Because Michael Douglas does a great job as Hank Pym. I love his character. Evangeline Lilly also very good. She's a highlight. Cross,
Yeah, he's fine.
Scott's crew, though, I love them.
Oh, they're fantastic.
They're great.
And they get even better in Ant-Man and the Wasp, I feel.
Yeah,
I love that.
definitely. It's strange for Marvel to do a straight-up comedy. We've seen it a couple times now, specifically with Ragnarok. I feel like that's pretty much a
That's a comedy. Yeah, definitely.
Ant-Man comedy heist film.
Yeah, that's weird to say. That's like their first comedy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Their first full-on comedy is definitely
so late in the game, too, 2015. Wow.
I think it's fair to say they've been doing a great job so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phase
sure.
2.
Yeah. I think Ragnarok was the funniest movie of 18.
Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Phase 2, surprisingly, I always feel like Phase 2 is full of crap.
Yeah.
But it's not.
That's what I think, because everyone has, like, I guess it's rose-tinted glasses with Phase 1, because that kind of started it all. But looking back on Phase 1, I'm like, ooh, this is probably my least favorite phase of Marvel. Yeah. And Phase 2, at least right now, I mean, compared to the two, it's my favorite. We'll see how it ranks against Phase 3. Probably not as high, because I love Phase 3. But, yeah, honestly, like, right now, Phase 2 is looking pretty good.
Yeah, so last thing I'll say on Ant-Man is the relationship that he has with his family, too, of his daughter and G. Greer and her second husband.
Yep.
I love their dynamic, too.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty
So
good.
much about Ant-Man is very funny. I love the characters at their core. We'll get to this with Ant-Man 2 also, but the fact that so much of the beginning of that film is just him in the house just is a testament to how well Paul Rudd owns this character.
Oh, for sure.
And I think Marvel's better for it at this point.
Yeah.
So what's next up for you?
So Iron Man 3 was 4 for me, and number 3 is Age of Ultron. I actually really like this movie. And you mentioned this to me last year when we were like just talking about because we were both watching the MCU like leading up to Infinity War, and you said that this movie ages better than the first Avengers, and in my mind I was like, I don't know if I agree with that, but rewatching it now, it absolutely does, and I like this better than the original Avengers.
So do I,
in my mind, which is that's another like. Watching this again, all these movies are recontextualized after Infinity War, and yeah, this is I prefer this over the first Avengers.
So, I want to talk about this now since we both seem to be very positive about Ultron.
Yeah.
Ultron's my number 2.
Oh wow!
Age of Ultron is my favorite Avengers movie because
oh my god, even more than Infinity War. Okay,
I think so.
Okay,
because I haven't rewatched Infinity War for a while.
Yeah. Okay.
But Infinity War, I feel like this is a little bit of a tangent. I feel like it's going to age similarly to the first Avengers, where Infinity War is very reliant on the spectacle.
Yeah.
Whereas Age of Ultron is so much about the team dynamic.
Right.
Which I feel like is one of the weaker aspects of Infinity War, which again is at the point because they are splintered off. Events have happened throughout the MCU. But Age of Ultron, while it's not as good of a film as Infinity War, I enjoy more than Infinity War because it is the team being the team.
Oh, yeah.
And this is really the only time we see them functioning fully as a team.
That's true.
There is some conflict, there is some disagreement, but like there's going to be this like 6 gods fighting together. So yeah, Ultron just ages so well. There's so many aspects. The one thing that I do not like, the thing that does not age well, it's a Joss Whedonism, is the Black Widow character in this.
Yeah.
Not good.
The whole monster idea.
Yeah, about the like, oh, I can't have kids, so I'm a monster, just like the Hulk. That's, oof.
Yeah, that's a rough line. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was like, gosh.
Yeah, that you're right. That is kind of like the main detractor, is especially with that one line. It's like, all right, whatever. But honestly, I really do like this movie. One of the best Stan Lee cameos.
Yeah.
Excelsior.
Name of the show.
Yeah, there it is.
He's a fan apparently.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Steve's vision makes me incredibly sad.
Oh yeah.
With him and Peggy.
Mm-hmm.
That one, like, that gets me. And I hope to see if he dies or he goes to the soul realm or whatever in the next movie. Why can't I think of it? Endgame. I would love to see him dancing with Peggy.
Yeah.
I would love to see that scene. That makes me well up even thinking about that. What else do I have here? Vision and Mjolnir. Gotta love that. Big fan.
Also, Cap like
budging it,
moving it.
Yeah,
that's so good. And Thor's reaction.
Thor's like, he's like, no.
The entire party scene is one of my favorites in the entire series.
It's like the first time you can see the Avengers like kind of wind down and just like be friends, because they didn't. I mean, obviously they really didn't even get to be friends in Avengers 1. The only example of that is them eating shawarma at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
But that's about it. I love Hawkeye in this movie.
Me too.
Specifically, this is Hawkeye's movie. I feel he really gets the attention he deserves as a character, because he got screwed over in the Avengers and he just like couldn't be himself. But
I love the line he has. It's like, I did the whole mind control thing.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it again.
Yeah, that was I have that on here as like a really good like fourth wall breaking joke, pretty much. But especially his speech to Scarlet Witch always like
that's so good.
brings tears to my eyes, and always like has my hair on my back of my neck like standing up, because that's just like, it's incredible. It is like, you either like walk out the door or be an Avenger, or you hide in here and I'll get your brother to send you. But like, if you come out with me, you're an Avenger. Yeah, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Also, Danny Elfman did the score to this.
Yeah, I'm better with it now than I was.
Yeah.
Because the first time I saw it and I heard the title theme when they showed the Avengers card, and pretty much any other time they're doing heroic stuff, I'm like, they're not using the Avengers theme. Come on. I did notice more of it this time. And like I was mentioning earlier, bringing back some of the characters' themes when there's the Veronica Hulk fight.
Yep.
When Tony lands in the suit, they do have hints of the Iron Man 3 theme, which I really like.
That's pretty good.
There was another character, I think. Oh, Cap has a couple tones of his theme from Winter Soldier in there, which I appreciate, because, again, these characters should have themes.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I feel like that adds so much to it.
That is a weird thing about the MCU that you've been touching on for a while. Like, you really don't have a big theme for each character.
You don't.
I mean, the DC has it. I mean, I haven't really kept up with them, but I mean, obviously Wonder Woman has her theme, and like they're very recognizable.
Yeah.
I think the one character that does have a theme is Spider-Man, but we get that later, much later. But yeah, for now they don't have their themes, which is kind of disappointing.
Yeah. I think Danny Elfman did like fine. I think, as much as I'm upset they didn't use the Avengers theme, I think the new Avengers theme that they use for the close of the film, when it's like Falcon, Scarlet Witch, Black Widow, and Cap, I like that theme a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
Which it's nice that they gave them their own sort of thing, but again, I don't think that ever comes back, because they just go back to the Avengers theme, which fine by me, because I love that.
Yeah.
Ultron though, Ultron is a character. I think we should touch on that.
Yeah, for sure.
I like him.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
This is my bias, and I had a tweet about this earlier today. I absolutely hate James Spader, just absolutely hate him, and it is probably because of Robert California in The Office.
Yeah.
That's like one of those examples. It like doesn't even fall into this category, but like separating the artists from the art. I hate that character with a burning passion, and I cannot separate James Spader from Robert California in The Office. But I think he's great as Ultron.
Yeah, my girlfriend also does not like Ultron's character just because of Robert California.
Yeah, I absolutely hate him. But I like him as Ultron, and the character is interesting, I feel.
Yeah, and I like that he kind of leans into the whole cheesiness of what his role is as a character, because he's very much, especially his like speech at the party, is very much a, we live in a society sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it works. I think it works with the tone and his character overall and where he ends up going. And he's like, my mission is peacekeeping. The Avengers cause chaos.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Right.
And I think he plays that well. I wish he had a little more depth.
Yeah.
But
He's fine. I mean, I like him as a villain, but the only thing I really dislike about him is that like you can't really empathize with him. He's not like a human being.
Yeah, he's not one of the better ones. I'd say he's higher up on the mid tier though.
Yeah, he's in the mid tier somewhere.
And I do like that there is some similarities to Tony's attitude with Ultron because he did create him.
Sure.
Vision also. There's so much in this movie.
Yeah, Vision is absolutely great in this. This is a probably a mean joke, but I always say that Paul Bettany looks more normal as Vision than he does as a human being.
Why does he always have makeup on now? Because he was in Solo too, right?
Yeah, he was in Solo with weird like face, like it looked like veins, but it was like kind of power source in him. I don't know. He always wears like weird yellow glasses in like interviews, and I'm like, you look so weird, Paul Bettany.
Very strange man.
Yeah,
but yeah, there's a lot. I'll also mention this. Cap finally gets his due as a team leader in this.
Yeah, finally.
The whole introduction of them in the forest. I know a lot of people don't like. I like it.
The language.
Not just language.
Or just the whole sequence. Scene. The sequence itself, I think, is awesome. Yeah, definitely. Do you know what I found weird about that? When the logo popped up, like after I think Tony picked up the scepter, and the logo popped up. It was like a weird edit. I don't know why it popped up at that moment.
That's strange.
I don't know, but that was my only like editing issue, I guess.
Yeah, because with the first Avengers and Infinity War, it is building to the title.
Yes.
You get the badass Nick Fury line. It's like, we get ready, and then Thanos is coming.
Oh yeah.
And then this one's just a cut.
Yeah, it's so that I watched it last year and this year, and again, it was just so weird to me. But well, it's a small thing.
I love this movie. I could talk about Ultron for an entire podcast length.
Yeah, no, I this movie has really grown on me, and I was someone who, again, Phase 2 has really surprised me because there's so many movies, this one included, that I totally ragged on. But I mean, I'm really liking pretty much all of these.
Yeah,
especially more than Phase 1, I would say.
Yeah, so I guess we should move on.
Okay.
My third, and I'm assuming your second.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 and 3 for me are like neck and neck.
Oh yeah.
It's like the scale could tip the slightest amount either way. Because similar to the Avengers, the first time I saw Guardians of the Galaxy, I saw it within 24 hours the second time. That's the film I've seen the most in theaters. I think I saw Guardians, including a drive-in theater, like 7 times.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
I love Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's amazing. I absolutely love that movie.
Interesting, last year when we did our rewatch, something felt off. I think it may have been, it either hit me at a wrong time or just I knew that movie almost inside and out.
Yeah.
But revisiting it now, I was just like, damn, this is such a good film.
Yeah. It is classic Marvel in my mind. Like that is what Marvel should be like.
Yeah.
I think it has the best opening in a Marvel movie, from the emotion of Peter Quill losing his mother.
Oh yeah.
To the absolute hilarity of him just walking through an empty cave.
Yeah, dancing around.
Like I don't know how they I just don't know how they did this movie.
James Gunn, man.
Yeah, and I had it I have it on here somewhere. It is the weirdest MCU movie of all time, I feel, because it has no business being as good as it is. Like they were like, "Oh, we're going to make a movie about a group of people no one knows about, and we're going to get the fat guy from Parks and Rec to star in it. Trust me, it's going to make millions." And they did. I don't know how this movie did as well as it did. I just don't understand. And like, it's one of the best MCU movies, I feel.
Yeah, I think it ages very well.
No, so well.
I think almost better than any of the other ones we've talked about so far.
Yep, definitely.
Maybe not as good as Ultron, but I think Guardians has maintained its quality.
Oh yeah.
It hasn't dipped. It's gone up a little bit for me. I think it is Avengers, but better. Because it did what the Avengers did in 5 movies beforehand in the first act.
Right.
And you immediately cared about all these characters.
Seriously.
And props to James Gunn for that.
Absolutely. This is like the opposite of the Suicide Squad.
100%.
Because, I mean, I hate the Suicide Squad. I don't know how you feel about it. Yeah. So that movie, I cared about none of the characters. And they had to build up that team in one movie. And that is I will give Suicide Squad it is a very hard thing to do.
Yeah, it's very hard.
But Guardians of the Galaxy did it.
Yeah.
And they did it so well because they took characters no one knew about And for some reason, at the end of the movie, we cared about them.
Yeah.
And that is like a feat in and of itself.
And they didn't have Will Smith either.
They did not have Will Smith, yeah.
Yeah, the biggest name, I feel like, would probably be Bradley Cooper, and they made him a raccoon.
Yeah, Bradley Cooper and Vin Diesel, and you don't even know it's Vin Diesel unless you've heard about it before.
Yeah, man, the Guardians films have a special place in my heart, both of them, because even revisiting this one, I still tear up.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely.
Like, the moment at the end when they're all standing together and he reaches out to Gamora and he sees his mom. Yeah. That makes me cry.
Oh, definitely.
And then it hits me right again when he's reading the note and it's like she called him Star-Lord and that's why he's so attached to that
yeah,
name.
now
That
you're
hits
getting me
so hard.
Definitely. I think, again, we got another trend here in the MCU. Ronan. I do not like him as
I think
he's
villain. Okay.
He's fine. He's just like generic bad guy to me.
He screams a lot.
He's like, I think he's better than Malekith, but I don't know. He's fine. He's intimidating.
Yeah.
He has a cool ship, the thing that spins.
Yeah, I do like the design.
That's cool.
That's another thing I want to touch on.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to bring up something else first before I forget. Ronan, I like the fact that he's so serious.
Yeah.
Because when you get the dynamic of him and Chris Pratt at the end, it's so funny.
That's a good point.
I wish there was like some other character to add some levity to more of Ronan's scenes. Mm-hmm. Because the back and forth between him and Quill at the end, when he's about to destroy a planet and he starts dancing, he's like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
He's like, "This is my moment."
Right.
Like,
because it's such a like dichotomy between someone who doesn't take anything seriously and someone who takes everything so seriously.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
I don't know if like more of that would have helped or hurt.
Yeah.
Because maybe if there was more, then that moment and that comedy wouldn't have worked as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to shout that out. Also, I think so. Guardians 1 for me has, like I said, a special place because the first time I saw this, I walked out feeling what I imagined people felt watching the first Star Wars.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Because I really was blown away by how insanely unique this film was and how original it was, even though it was based on a comic book.
Yeah.
Like creature design, the way they portrayed space, the way that these characters were written, the way they were acted. Everything about this film I loved to death, and I was so fascinated with. That's why I saw it so many times.
Right.
In the kiln, all the creature designs, space, nowhere as a concept.
Yeah.
So much of this film is impeccably designed and a master craftsmanship of sci-fi for modern film. And yeah, I just love so much about Guardians.
Yeah, you're right. I think it does age very well. I think it ages, personally, I think it ages best out of any other movie that we've talked about so far. I think it's still the funniest MCU movie, in my opinion.
I think Guardians has my favorite humor.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Thor Ragnarok, yes, I'm trying to compare the two, but I still think Guardians is funnier than Ragnarok, although that has its own charm too. Yeah. But another thing I want to say just briefly, I think the strife between the characters that they go throughout this movie makes way much more sense than the strife that they had in the Avengers. Mm-hmm. Way more sense. Yeah. Because these characters like start off hating each other for a reason. Yeah. They're all in jail together because of themselves. But with the Avengers, they just hate each other because I don't know, they need to have some sort of conflict.
Like egos.
Yeah, it is all ego in the Avengers, and that kind of annoys me in that particular movie. But it makes so much more sense in Guardians, and I love it for that, yeah.
Shout out to John C. Reilly.
Seriously, that's a good point. John C. Reilly holding it down in this movie.
So before we hit our number one, Pat. Yeah. Would you like to go through your list of Phase 2?
Yeah, and I'll keep it brief.
Go for it.
Thor: The Dark World is my 6 because evil elves and the girls from Two Broke Girls isn't exactly the best key for the Marvel Universe. Yeah. Then I'm gonna go Iron Man 3. Okay. Just I liked it. Like you guys said, it's a good movie, but I'm going Ant-Man at 4 because I just kind of like that conceptually a lot more than I like Iron Man.
Yep.
And plus, it was kind of a breath of fresh air when I first watched it. Number 3, I'm going Winter Soldier.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, that gun he has where he flips the car, it's dope.
Yeah.
I want that. Because like for moving furniture, it'd be easier.
Oh yeah.
I'm breaking this down from the worst, like cinematically critical standpoint.
No, I like this. I absolutely.
But this is what you get with me.
And worth mentioning, last week Captain America was your number 1.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. And I'm not a loyal guy. And Avengers: Age of Ultron, that's gonna be my number 2.
Okay.
James Spader just kills it in this movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, great story.
Mhm.
I like the story all throughout,
Mhm.
especially when they lifted up. Like I don't know if it was about a curse. I'm not gonna do that. But they pulled a planet they pulled a city off the floor.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're like, oh, we're just gonna drop it and ruin everything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, who comes up with that?
That's
Who wrote that?
That's a really good concept for sure.
And then number one is gonna be Guardians.
Yeah.
Yeah, Guardians is so good.
That's
It's a
fun.
great movie, and then that soundtrack, like I still could just.
Yeah, we didn't even touch on that.
That's a good point. It has, honestly,
the best soundtrack.
I think it has one of the best soundtracks of all time at any movie.
Yeah, there's some really good picks for
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, that's a good point you brought up. Soundtrack is definitely important in
Yeah,
that
it's
movie.
worth mentioning.
Yeah, see, I can be critical.
So, my number one, your number one.
Yeah,
Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
sure. I didn't take too many notes on this because I already know how I feel. But yeah, if you want to start us off with this one,
I'm gonna start off with a bold ass claim.
okay, let's do it.
Captain America: The Winter Soldier is a better superhero film than The Dark Knight.
Wow. Okay.
I will say this because it is not ashamed to be about a superhero.
Mm-hmm.
It leans into it. It is just as thrilling. I just prefer it overall. And I love Batman. Batman's arguably my favorite superhero.
Mm-hmm.
10 years ago, Captain America, I don't know who you are. I don't care.
Yeah, seriously.
But Winter Soldier is the thing that really made Cap one of my favorite characters ever now.
Yeah.
I love so much about this film. I don't even know where to start. But yeah, I think as far as being a comic book film about a character, I think it is more entertaining than The Dark Knight. I feel like it's more rewatchable and it stands at the same quality level. And I feel like not enough people shout it out for that.
That's a good point. And what you were saying, I think it's easy to argue that is a better superhero movie because what you're saying makes sense. Like, it is more enjoyable. It has more levity to it. And that is what most superheroes are all about. I know Batman has a dark tone to him, but like there still has to be moments of levity and kind of humor along with that. And I think Captain America: The Winter Soldier is perfect with that. It takes itself seriously, and that's what I enjoy about specific MCU movies. I like movies that take itself very seriously and like they're like, this has consequence to what's going on in the greater MCU. And the Winter Soldier, yeah, oh my God, more than any of these, I think. I mean, Age of Ultron, of course, but it absolutely is significant, and I think everyone is like on their A game in this movie. And it's like kind of a collection of characters.
Yeah,
it's not just a Cap movie. It's like Natasha's in there, Nick Fury's in there, Falcon, of course.
Falcon is my favorite supporting character in the MCU.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I love him.
Yeah,
make him Cap.
I would love that. I would actually really like a Winter Soldier as Cap because I think it'd be fascinating to. This is a tangent, but I think it'd be fascinating to have someone who is so like hated by the general public because I thought he did the Civil War bombing, and have him take over the mantle of someone that everyone universally loves.
Yeah,
and I think it'd be very fascinating to see him kind of like gain the trust of the people,
like a redemption arc.
Yeah, definitely.
Doesn't everyone technically hate Captain America now?
I mean, the government
And the
hates him.
MCU.
Yeah, the government hates him, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. Because you got that whole scene in Homecoming where they're like, or Hannibal Buress is like, oh, I guess this guy's technically a war criminal now.
Yeah, I love that so
that's
much.
Awesome.
Can I say a story real quick?
Yeah, please.
So, I think Winter Soldier is such an excellent movie because it is so thrilling and it maintains that upon repeat viewings. Recently, beginning of January, when we were on break, I was hanging out with my family. I was with my mom, my grandpa, and my brother. We wanted to watch a movie. My brother and I saw Winter Soldier when it came out the first time.
Yep.
My mom and my grandpa had not seen Winter Soldier. So we watched it on giant ass TV. My God, I'm like, dude, that entire highway scene, my heart was racing still. It's just shot so excellently. The action in this film is directed incredibly well. The Russos, for their debut for a film.
Yep.
Insane. Going from TV and Community and stuff like that on television to this.
Isn't that weird? Like they did Arrested Development, right?
Yeah, they did.
Like has no bearing on this movie at all. But I don't know how they did it.
Yeah, so we watched it again, and like I don't know if it was because I was experiencing it with people who had never seen it before, but when I rewatched it 2 days ago again, still the highway scene had me locked in. I was like, my heart was beating so fast. It's just like there's a visceral sense to the entirety of the way they shoot this film and the way the action's portrayed, and just Cap's character in general.
Yeah,
it's incredible. I cannot say enough good things about this film.
I'm trying to think of think of the villain. I wouldn't say the Winter Soldier's a villain because he's a puppet.
Right, Robert Redford.
Yeah, Robert Redford and Hydra and I guess like S.H.I.E.L.D. is the villain, which I like. I think it's a little too up in the air. It's not grounded. I mean, it's grounded in Robert Redford's character, which I like him. I think he's excellent in this.
Yeah, me too.
It's like this movie is like a spy espionage movie.
Yeah.
And it makes sense like that is the particular villain. And I do like that. It's just kind of hard to pin down like that's my favorite villain because it's like there's multiple angles with the villain in this.
The implications.
You're right. Yeah.
Which I still think, again, repeat viewings, like the drop, the moment of, I think that scene with Zola.
Yeah.
For Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson's just acted so well.
Yeah, definitely.
Because the realization that they've been fighting for the enemy this entire time, it's just acted so well. Like
Absolutely.
It still hits every single time.
And I like the Saw reference. That's another thing. Great. One of my favorite parts about this movie is the Notebook.
Oh, that's so good.
Where where Falcon says something, you got to listen to Marvin Gaye's soundtrack too. I forget
Trouble
what it was.
Man?
Yeah, Trouble Man. And he's like, I'll add it to the list. Literally pulls out a list and writes it down. And if you pause, you can like scroll down and see like Nirvana,
the Beatles
band, the Beatles,
Star
and
Wars /Trek.
Yeah, Star Wars /Trek, and that's different in particular countries or particular regions,
That's really cool.
which I think is fascinating because that wouldn't make sense for like I don't know, you give that to like a Chinese audience and like those references wouldn't make sense, so they have like different references for particular audiences. I think that's really cool. Yeah.
I also want to shout out the way they treat Cap in this movie.
Absolutely.
Is maybe the best in the series still, but one of my favorite things, it's such a small detail. There's 3 specific moments that always stand out in my head. There's when he lands on the Lemurian star, and it's before the music kicks in. It's when he's taking out a couple of guys silently, but right when the music kicks in, he kicks some dude. He like slams against the side and then just flips over the ship. The power and like the thump you feel there is insane. Also, when he's chasing the Winter Soldier and after Fury gets shot, he's running through the building with S.H.I.E.L.D. charging through stuff. He just like wrecks into a wall and caves that entire wall in. And it's just, it lingers on that because then he starts running down a hallway. So it's so good.
It really does explore his powers more, like powers in question, more in this movie, like especially in the opening scene on your left where he passes Falcon on the reflecting pool in Washington, and he is like hundreds of yards past him. It's like, oh my God.
That was also another point where they used the like the Captain America march from the first film at the beginning of the film. So it was cool that it was only used there, but it was cool they used it.
Yeah.
Also, they used it in the museum.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. I really like the character of Winter Soldier in this. Absolutely adore it. And it's a good, I don't know, I think coming from Avengers, I've always said it like these, and like I'm not the only one to say it, but the characters in Avengers, especially Cap, is like such cookie cutter, kind of cliche, very like stereotypical of their characters. Like they're kind of caricatures of who they are.
Yeah, definitely.
And Cap in this breaks the mold so much of what they establish him as. He starts to question everything. And the Captain America we knew in the first one and in the Avengers is starting to change into the one that we know now. I mean, especially we'll see that in Civil War, but Winter Soldier really laid the groundwork where he's starting to question the government. And he's kind of like breaking off what he used to be so loyal to. And that's what I love so much about this movie.
Yeah, it's so good. I love, again, the action this.
Oh, incredible.
Lemurian Star, that entire opening is so good.
Seriously.
The highway scene again, just insane. Like the Bucky reveal too, that hits still, even though we know it's coming.
Did you know that going into it, the movie? 2014?
I would think I was aware that Winter Soldier was Bucky.
Yeah. I don't think I did at all.
Oh, so that must have been.
It was a pretty good reveal for me.
Yeah, that's so good. And then the ending sequence too, with the 3 helicarriers. Very good. The entire moment. I think one of the highlights is when Winter Soldier shows up.
Oh, yeah.
Just the reveal of him too, where he explodes the thing and then he's just walking through fire.
Yeah.
That's such a cool shot. I love that so much. And
the with you till the end of the line always gets me.
The thing that hits me too is the same moment within a couple seconds of that is when he's trying to save him and he's like, "You're my friend." He like tackles him. He's like, "You're my mission." Then he just beats the hell out of him.
Oh, yeah.
This movie's so good.
Because like you can tell the Winter Soldier's like fighting with himself in his mind, and he like doesn't want what Cap's saying to be true, but like eventually accepts it. Also, and this is just a smaller note, Skinny Steve looks like significantly better in this movie than it did in the first Cap.
Yeah.
I guess technology had advanced at that point where it didn't look really bad.
Definitely, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know we talked a lot about the action so far and like surface level stuff, but I really do give them a lot of credit for the way they deliver these twists, the way they write the political intrigue and the relationships between the characters, because I do feel like that's the highlight. For as good as the action is, I think Fury's character, his relationship with Cap, his relationship with Natasha too.
Yep.
And you see when they see he's alive, you see a moment of betrayal because she's like, oh, he didn't even trust me.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of really cool moments in this film.
I think this is, I mean, you should always watch movies beforehand, like not prequels, but like the first or second going into these. But I think this is a good standalone movie.
Yeah, that's why I did show it to my mom and grandpa.
Yeah, you can watch this movie without seeing any MCU movie.
Yeah.
Any MCU movie.
Yeah. Winter Soldier's fantastic.
It's incredible. It really is.
I could do an entire podcast just on this one.
Do you think in your head right now it'll stay at that spot for you?
As of right now, pre-Captain Marvel, post-Infinity War, and Ant-Man, the two, Winter Soldier has still been my number one.
Okay.
And you brought this question up last week. I'll bring a question similar up this week. I think 2014 was a landmark turning point for the MCU.
Absolutely.
There's everything up to that point. Then you get the double combo of Winter Soldier and Guardians.
What a great year.
Then everything after that point.
Yeah.
I really think those set the stage for everything that we have now.
That is such a good point. I didn't even like come to think of that. But yeah, those two movies in particular really set the stage for the funnier, it takes itself seriously but not too much, Guardians of the Galaxy, and this is so significant it'll change the rest of the MCU with the Winter Soldier. And we'll see shades of that in Civil War and Infinity War and Endgame and all that.
We would see some in Ultron too.
Yeah, some in Ultron, and then for Guardians, like that kind of levity we'll see in another Ant-Man. We'll see that in another Thor. I think Guardians of the Galaxy is like what Thor Ragnarok is kind of modeled after.
It owes a lot to Guardians.
Yeah, definitely.
The way James Gunn decided to portray space is so unique.
Yes.
In these films, and I think it just gives the rest of the MCU more of an identity.
It is like a colorful space.
Oh,
it's not like a 2001: A Space Odyssey kind of space. So, or even like a Star Wars, like very dirty space. It's very colorful, full of vibrancy and all that. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, Phase 2.
There it is.
Very fun going back to. Pat, before we wind up, do you want to run through your current ranking of the entire films?
Of all of them?
Yeah. Do you have that?
I believe I do.
Okay. So do you want to run through that?
It might take me a little bit of time.
Okay,
but
Jack, do you want to go
Yeah,
first?
I can go. All right.
You can set yours up.
I'll start at the bottom.
Okay.
As all things should. I don't know why that makes sense, because it doesn't. The Incredible Hulk, number 12. Number 11, Thor: The Dark World. Number 10, Thor. Number 9, Ant-Man. Number 8, Iron Man 2. Number 7, Iron Man. Number 6, Captain America: The First Avenger. Number 5, Iron Man 3. Number 4, The Avengers. Number 3, The Avengers: Age of Ultron. Number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy. And number 1, Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
That's a solid list.
Yeah. It's I deleted my previous list from last year leading up to Infinity War, just to start fresh. I didn't really want to like have that list taint my viewing of it now, and it is a little different. Iron Man 3 is much higher than it used to be. It's weird that it's my favorite Iron Man, but hey, there it is. And Age of Ultron above the Avengers for me now. Again, that's one of those things I would never have thought, but yeah, this rewatch of Phase 2 has definitely changed some opinions for me, at least.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'm making some audibles right now. Because just talking about these, I disagree with my ranking I already had in.
Yeah, Pat and I were talking about this earlier before the show. Like, listening to people's opinions can, like, sway you so much.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, even if it's, like you're on the fence about it, if someone loves a movie or hates a movie, that can sway your opinions so much. And that happens to me all the time, for sure.
So it's 12 so far?
I believe it is 12, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, 12.
Okay.
If you need a minute, I think I'm ready to go.
Go for it, yeah.
All right, so obviously we're going to go Hulk, 12.
Mm-hmm.
Thor 2, 11. 10, I'm tempted to say, I think I'm going to go Ant-Man.
Okay.
Actually, no, I'm going to go Thor. I'm changing it up.
I struggled between those two.
Yeah. And then I'll go Ant-Man at 9. We'll send Iron Man 1 at 8. Number 7. It's tough. I'm just going to go Iron Man 2 and then Iron Man 3 for number 6. Number 5, I'll probably say Avengers 1. Number 4, I'll go with Captain America. Number 3, I'm going to go Avengers 2. Number 2, sorry, I'm like...
It's all good.
Number 2...
It's Winter Soldier and Guardians now, right? That's what's left.
Oh, Winter Soldier and then Guardians.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know why I thought it was Cap 1 for a second.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my list.
Nice. That is a good list.
Okay.
I like that.
I think I contradicted my first list.
Yeah, that I'm not taking that into account. Like my ranking, the math
fine.
of my rankings for both phases doesn't really play in here.
No, that doesn't matter, I feel.
Because, again, this isn't like a fully perfect list, but I'm like doing it a mix of my heart and what I actually think is a better film.
Right. Oh, yeah. A lot of it comes down to just what hits you.
Yeah. Okay. I think I got this now.
Okay.
So, number 12 is Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
Number 11 is Thor: The Dark World. Number 10 is Iron Man 2. Number 9 is Captain America: The First Avenger. Number 8 is The Avengers.
Wow.
Number 7 is Thor.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6 is Ant-Man. Number 5 is the original Iron Man. Number 4 is Iron Man 3. Number 3 is Guardians of the Galaxy. Actually, no. Number 2.
See, it's easy to get lost.
It is, yeah.
No, that was the way I wrote it down, but it's just like saying it out loud hurts me. Number 3 is Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Okay.
Number 2 is Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 1 is Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
We have the same top 3.
Okay.
So far.
That's going to maintain for a little while.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. We all have different lists going on here, and I like that.
It's cool.
Good variety of opinion.
Mm-hmm. I'm shocked that you guys are still cool with me having Thor although, like, 5 movies. You're probably not, but that's just gonna increase discussion.
So I feel like you of all the 3 of us have like a very interesting list. Yeah. But I like that. I like how people like have different connections to these movies.
For sure, yeah. So that wraps up the 2-week catch up of Phase 1 and Phase 2. Next week we will be watching and reviewing, discussing in depth Marvel's Captain America: Civil War, which will be a hefty discussion.
Oh, yeah.
So if you haven't yet, you can catch up. Episode 1 is uploaded on JoyClicks. Thank both of you for joining me again.
Thanks for having
this
us.
Week.
Yeah. Thank you for having us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we figure out a sign off yet?
Not yet, but
I figured one out.
I think of one.
It's just applause. I know you can't hear it because you don't have headphones on. It's just applause.
I was trying to think of one real quick. Do you want to plug yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'll plug myself. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at FascinatedJack. I have a weekly gaming news briefing podcast called the Polygonal Sunrise. It's on the Amherst Wire. You can also find it in its own stream on iTunes and Spotify or Podbean at polygonalsunrise.podbean.com. Yeah, Spotify, iTunes, all that kind of stuff.
All right. And Pat, you want to plug your Twitter and stuff?
Just the Twitter at the P Moron. I tweet funny stuff there, and I often get in trouble because journalism professors don't like me tweeting funny stuff from what's supposed to be a serious account. That's it. Yeah. Thank you.
You can follow me on Twitter at Chris N. Buckley. If you're here, JoyClicks. Excelsior is now on podcast services.
Hey.
It is on iTunes, Spotify. You can look up Excelsior with an exclamation point or Excelsior JC. You'll probably find it. If not, it is linked in the description of the YouTube video. JoyClicks also just started our our games podcast hosted by my friend Omar Nakvi, which will go up every Friday. But yes, that does it for everything. This is a meaty episode. And we will see you next week. And until next time.
I don't know. I don't have anything.
Avengers.